but this is what your customer would see when they log in through the virtual keypad app or browser. You can see I've got both my doors. I have a door position switch on one of them, so I can even see that it's closed. You can see all of my events. We're going to come back to that. If the customer logging in has permission to trigger a lockdown, they can do that from that screen as well. If it's a large system with a lot of doors, each individual user can customize which doors show up on their screen. If there's a couple that they don't really care to track or anything like that, they only care about a couple, then they can choose the favorites that matter to them. Now, so let's get to configuring this. The first thing we do is go into groups. And so I've got a couple, so let's assume that we're putting this in a school. So we've added a couple doors, and we've got a couple groups already, but I'll add a new group. So we'll say this is the coaches. And so I'm going to choose which doors I want the coaches to have access to. So I'm going to say, and if you have a long list, you can search through here, but I'm going to say the coaches have access to the gym door. I can give them access to as many doors as I need, though. And then we're choosing when should they have access. So this is your access schedule. When should anybody with this group be allowed through those doors? So I'll say Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I can even choose what we should do on the holidays if we've set up holidays. You can have as many holidays as you need. I've got one there set up that I want it to be locked down on July 4th. But then if I want them to have the ability to come in on the weekends, we'll say they can come in on the weekends 8 to noon, so Saturday 8 to noon. And I don't need card plus pin or anything like that, just card. If they have the ability to trigger a lockdown physically there, then I can give them that as well, but that's all I got to do. I've added my group, so there it is. So that's a group. That's where you decide what doors people can go through and when. And now, all I have to do is assign a user. So I've got some users already created here, and we'll go ahead and set one up. We'll say it's Don Coach. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put an email address in here. Now, the reason I would do that is, one, if I'm going to create them as an app user, the customer can set them up as an app user right here. And then they can determine, do I want them to be a standard app user? Meaning they can log in and they can see the doors that their group is on. So if the coaches have a virtual keypad app and the group they're assigned to for their credentials is only the gymnasium door, then when they log into virtual keypad, that's the only door they can see. So those groups carry over to your virtual keypad access as well. If I want them to be able to manage things like I'm doing right now, add users, add groups, run reports, etc., then I can make them an admin user. Now, I'm not going to make them an app user, but you still might want to put their email address in there because that can come into play later on when you're setting up your real-time notifications. So first name, last name, now I add them to a group. So I'm adding them to the coaches group, and I need to add a credential. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of you know about, but we have a product called the 1301 reader. It is a little nano reader. It's very small. It's about this big. Plugs right into the USB port of your laptop. And so I've got one connected to my laptop. All I have to do is wave that over it, just like any admin reader, but it pulls it right in, but it pulls it right into virtual keypad. So I can enter that and put in the external number as well. And any user you're adding, we default to active. You can make them inactive, but you can even do temporary users. So if you have a teacher that's going to be a coach that's coming in just to be an assistant coach, or a teacher at the school that's a temporary teacher, or anybody coming in for a temporary amount of time, I can say, you know what? I need their code to start working Monday, February 1st, and they're only going to be here for a little over a week, so I need it to stop on February 12th. And then you don't have to worry about it. You can set it and forget it. It's going to start working on that day, and it's going to stop working on the 12th. Now, I will, and sorry about that, I messed up there. I didn't save it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, save it, and that's it. I've added a user. So that user is going to be able to go through the gymnasium door Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 and 8 to noon on Sundays, because that's what I set up in his group. A group can be as many of the doors as you need them to be, or even just one door. And you can have multiple doors can exist in multiple groups, and any user can be set up with 32 different groups. So from groups, let's take a look at rules. So with rules, this is where you actually set up your auto lock and unlock schedules. So again, kind of keeping in theme with the school, we've got a student drop off, we can have a pickup schedule. So let's see what something like that would look like. I would say the pickup schedule. This is when the students are getting picked up at the end of the day. I'll say this is going to be for all my doors, and we'll say that that is going to be 3, we'll leave it at 3, and we'll say to 5, Monday through Friday. And then again, I can have different classes of holidays. If I need to add another holiday, I can add a holiday. Christmas, we can do that. January, set up December 25th. And I can put that in a different category if I need to. So we'll set that up. So you can have all of the different holidays for your different schedules as well. And so that is how you set up an auto lock and unlock schedule. And again, we support 99 schedules on any X1. Now in rules, so that was auto lock and unlock under rules, I can also create rules that can either send a notification, or they can trigger an output, or they can trigger a lockdown. So for example, look at all these different things. I can say if access is denied on the front door by a certain user. So say you're wanting to pay attention to a specific employee, and you want to know if they try to go in a door that they're not supposed to go into. And you want to know right then. You don't want it in a report. We'll give you a report, but you want to know right then. You can do that. But let's do something else. Let's say, how about when a door is forced? So if the front lobby door gets forced open, I want it to initiate a lockdown. So that's when the other X1s will tell that door to lock down. And I can even put that on a schedule. So we'll say during school hours, 8 to 5. We'll say 7. 7 to 5. If that happens, I want you to initiate a lockdown. But I also need a bunch of people to know about it. So I can, from a list of available contacts, I can say, okay, these people, but then I can add people to that. Now, anybody that I set up here doesn't actually have to be a user of the system. What if it was a business and you have like a loss prevention auditor that probably doesn't come to the store, but they're responsible to know what happens there? You can set them up to get a notification. Or if you did create a user, which I did, I created one just a minute ago, Don Coach, then I can do that and it pulls his info in. I'll add a phone number, hit save, and then hit done. And now I've got all these people that I can choose. How do I want them to be notified? We'll have these people get a text. If any of them were app users, you could do a push notification to them as well. So I can even have people get an email and a text. So you can see how that's really flexible. So let's do another one. What if I wanted to, if the door was propped, I just want a notification. Then I would just say, I only send a notification. And then you'd set that up the way I did just a minute ago. But there's some neat things that you can do here. So for example, you've got a custom input. So if an input activates on, and you can choose the door on the front lobby door. Maybe I want to trigger an output. Which output? Because each X1 has 2 outputs. So I can use that to turn some lights on, or I can use that to do anything I need it to do. So it's very flexible. If you have video, SecureCom video set up, I can say access granted on a door. I want this camera to take a 20-second clip. You can do that as well. So rules are very powerful things that can either trigger things to occur on the site or notify people of those things, or do both. And so that's rules. So the next thing I want to go into is events. So events and reports. Let's talk about reports first. So you're used to seeing the reports that we can do in virtual keypad access. And so this is very similar to that. So I'll say this is, again, keeping with the school. I want to know for the last 30 days all of the activity. That's LO battery, a power failure, all of the access granted, denied, door open, door closed, everything. Or maybe I just want to know door access on all my doors, or only specific doors. Which doors? So I'm going to say all of them. For all my users, or do I want to know where Don Coach went specifically? And only maybe where he was denied access. And then I can run that report. Or I can schedule that report. I can schedule any report to be sent to me every day, every week, every month. Which, if I do every day, every week, I can choose the day of the week. If I choose every month, I can choose which day of the month. what time I want it to send to me at, how I want that formatted. Is that going to be an Excel or is that going to be a PDF? And then I can add as many recipients to that report as I want. So I can continue to add to that list and send that to as many different people as I need. So the reporting feature can be as broad as all the doors and all the events, or I can say I just am looking for a specific event from a specific user on a specific door. So you can get really granular with that as well. So now let's jump over to events. So I can search. First of all, we told you that every X1 can store in its event buffer the last 12,000 events if it were to lose its connectivity. But as far as virtual keypad goes, it stores the last year of events. So all the events that get fed up to it from your system, they're all going to be here. All the events for every door for the last year. And so you can search by that any number of ways. So you can just search by name. So I typed in Quentin Booth granted access to the front lobby door from the in reader. So that's when he was coming in. And again, it's as simple as just searching by any word that you want. You can even filter it out here by just the doors that you want to. So you can do that. But one of the things I like to touch on, let's go down here, is earlier I added a credential because by using an admin reader. And of course, if you don't have an admin reader, cards usually come with a piece of paper. But one of the things that is really unique to DMP, and we do this on the XR series as well, but this is really nice on X1 especially, is that any reader on my system can be an admin reader. And what I mean by that is I can literally have this be my process. You just came to work for me. I need to give you this card. I don't know the code on the inside of this card. I can go swipe it at any X1, any reader on my system. And if we jump back over to our virtual keypad here, you'll see obviously it's not going to let me come in the door because the code's not loaded. But if I'm an admin user on virtual keypad, it'll say invalid card used for entrance on backdoor, card number, and it's going to show me the internal code of the card. Now, you just came to work for me. I swipe that because I want to give you this card. So I can click add card. I enter the external number. I hit apply and look where it takes me. Right to the user. So I say new person. I can then add you to a group and hit save. And that can be how easy my process is every time I add a new employee. I simply go swipe their card at the closest reader, get on virtual keypad, and I add that. So it's very easy to manage your credentials through X1. So that, I know that's a lot, but that overall is the X1 hardware. Again, everything is stored in each door. That's your schedules, your credentials, all the events, the 12,000 event buffer.